everybody, it's Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong. I am out in my sweet little workshop this morning. I love it out here so much. I've got the door open. It is about 61 degrees right now, so it feels okay. It feels really good, actually. Again, the humidity in here feels good. The temperature is good. It smells really good in here because of extra efforts to keep the moisture out and to keep, I don't know if any of you use smudge sticks or anything like that, but it's just really nice in here right now. This is a journal that I made recently and I absolutely love it. I wanted to share it on here, just do a dedicated video for this one. I think you've seen most of it either in bits and pieces here and there in other videos or maybe pictures online, but I did want a dedicated video just for this journal. I've just listed it in a couple of marketplaces online. It's on my website. It is on sale right now. This journal is made in a way that I love to make journals. Every 2 pages are sewn in as one signature, and you get all these beautiful lines of stitching on the outside. You can see there's some netting here. There is fabric with the skulls. I left a lot of loose strings because I feel like that just ties in with the theme of this journal. This journal is called The Colors of Darkness. The spine can be really large. This journal can expand to 6 inches, so you could add so much to this journal. It's a really good base on which to add, or it can lay pretty much flat the way it is. It ends up with this rounded sort of spine if you want to keep it just like it is. It ties with this beautiful blue velvet ribbon, and there is a little brass key that's been sewn onto the front. It looks like the number 42 on it. I'm not sure if that key was something that was assigned, to a certain box or a locker or something. Let's get inside and just look at this journal. There is a lot of distressing in this journal and a lot of stitching, a lot of work in this journal. Again, I just absolutely love it. There is this page in the front that says, "Life is fragile, handle with care." I'm going to just be talking to you about what inspired this journal while I flip through it. Again, it's called The Colors of Darkness, and there are a lot of images in here that are somewhat creepy, but they're definitely also very thought-provoking, and they're meant to be that way. All of the pages are attached to fabric strips, and they're sewn in 2 pages at one time to make one signature for every 2 pages. Again, you'll notice a lot of spots, a lot of distressing, a lot of strings, and a lot of images that, again, are thought-provoking. I'll lift that up and you can see it looks like a chandelier of some type hanging there. That could be one that holds candles, and very dark in the background. That is a painting to me that has always felt a little bit, I get a sense of foreboding there. You may get the same feeling I do when you look at all of that darkness behind her. What inspired this was all of the recent walks on the Eno River with Jason, and some of the areas in the Eno, the woods around the Eno River, which happens to run for about 40 miles, they feel magical, for lack of a better word. And there are a lot of dead trees that lay here and there. There are also a lot of gorgeous, living, very healthy trees. It's a natural setting is really what it boils down to. I'll stop and show you this poem that was typed up in 1925. That's the original. I did scan it so I can use it again, but this is the old one. We have learned that there are graveyards in those woods, including at least one slave graveyard, and sometimes they have managed tours of that to help people understand how respectful they need to be and to guide people where are the appropriate places to walk and to step and things like that. There really is no telling what all is in those woods. The source of water for Durham County came from that river and from a building in that river for many years, ending in 1927. The remains of that are still standing. As you know, I have found broken glass, I have found pieces of plates, old medicine bottles, and there is life in those woods, even though there's also a lot of death. And it always occurs to me when I'm thinking about the people who used to walk and live on those grounds, the people who are buried there while they are resting and gone from us in this world forever. Life goes on above ground. And even today, I can hear the birds singing. The birds have no idea what we're dealing with. They have no idea that we're, like even in my community here, we're trying to help people. I'm fortunate enough, as far as I know right now, to continue for at least a little while to have work at my real job. But people I love dearly are without a job right now. And I want to help. I want to take what I get and help share with others to bear the burden until we can all be together again and work together. There are people I work with who are like children to me. But the flowers and the birds and the trees, they have no idea what human beings are dealing with right now. So all of these beautiful colors, they keep going. And I don't know, life is really a marriage of the dark and the light, and the good and the bad, and the happiness and the sorrow. I'll see if I can compose myself a little bit. Anyway, I love this journal. There's a lot of thought in this journal. I don't know if you can see it by looking at it, but just a lot of emotion. I did use some just different techniques, dipping, circular shaped lids into the Ranger Distress Paint, leaving little metallic marks. I love these old mushrooms. And I did want to show you, in some places you can see where there are images on top of each other. So the bird is very visible, but when you look beyond, there is an image there of some faces from long ago, and that underscores the thinking that was behind this journal. The lost faces combined with the present wildlife and the living. I love these old illustrations. That's from a French caricaturist / artist of the 1800s. Love the stamping that's faded and all the spots. There's another poem from an old children's book, and that's an original page. I love this. Once upon a time. And there's a pocket there. The old map behind is from the 1930s. I just put my card in here. That's from an old scrapbook. And I love that she is singing. And then over here we just have shh. There is a guinea feather from my mother. And more stamping. Just beautiful images. Thank you for bearing with me while I flip through this. Again, I did want just a dedicated video for this journal. And more mushrooms. I love that. Stenciling. And I put a piece of masking tape over the top here. There was a tiny tear in that sort of cellophane paper, or there might be a better word for that. But as I said the first time, if it falls apart, it falls apart. That is the way life is. And this I wanted to share. So this is a piece of photo paper that's been run through the printer twice. The picture in the background is the old image of the girl, and then over the top of that is a vintage botanical. So her picture is sort of a sepia color, and then on top we have the brightly colored violet. Love the way that turned out. And you know what? I don't know if I mentioned before, I said I would let you guess who this in the background, that suit and the ascot and the eye. The eye was back in the very beginning. Oh, there's part of it. It says mad here. And where is the eye? There. It's an old poster of James Madison. I can't remember if I told you that. I had purchased that, two of those posters to use when I made the altered books for the attorneys, and I ended up not using those. Love the stamping in here. Thank you again, Jay, for those beautiful stamps. Can you hear the birds? I need to get outside some today, if possible. And then in the very back, this is an amazing letter. I purchased a digital kit from April at Pink Odd Bird. She has some wonderful ephemera that is sort of creepy. And this is from the state of Mississippi. It talks about a jury sitting to determine the cause of death of this man, Henry Pittman. And it says that they came to the conclusion that his death was because of being struck by a locomotive going east on the Southern Railroad. There were witnesses' signatures, and then it shows payments at the bottom. I printed that out. Look how beautifully that printed. And just tore around the edge and distressed it. I think it looks like a real piece of ephemera. But I thought it was pretty fitting just to put that right in the back. And the very last page of the journal, there is always an ending. And we close it up, and there's my birdsong stamp. I may have mentioned it's kind of macabre, but that fabric, I don't always use a satiny fabric to put my signature on my birdsong stamp, but this made me think of the lining of a casket. And yes, that's why that is there. But this book is so beautiful. There is, as much as there seems to be darkness here, there is hope and color and just the thought that we all have the responsibility to keep living. And that's, I've seen that quote that says sometimes the hardest thing to do is to keep living when you feel like dying. I don't say much of that from experience because I feel like I've been really blessed. Yes, I've had some hard times, but I don't think I have faced any deep darkness. None of us want to. Anyway, this is in the shop, and until it goes to its new home, it will be sitting on my shelf and enjoying its spot in my workshop. I hope everyone is doing well, and I will see you really soon. Bye for now.